Welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ plus daily news television show broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels.
Analytics company vidIQ has certified the Queer News Tonight YouTube channel as the world's most popular LGBTQ streaming news show. Our queer stories have reached over 10 million views.
We are proud that Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ brand in Florida.
We thank you for watching and supporting our voice in the Rainbow family.
There is no other news program in the LGBTQ plus world like Queer News Tonight.
It is Wednesday, June 4th. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we will tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
You're watching Queer News Tonight, the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
Welcome back to the world's most important LGBTQ evening news show.
Hotspot's Happening Out Television Network is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model as PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ community.
Our nonprofit mission is to support the 11 pillars of our LGBTQ community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of lesbian, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, business, and queer culture. Help us support our diverse community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ nonprofit media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network.
In 2025, our magazine is celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ plus experience. And Queer News Tonight is celebrating our 5th anniversary with more than 10,000 LGBTQ plus television stories. We will produce the 25th anniversary of our Stonewall Pride Parade and Festival on June 14th. We present Pride Fest in August, and we declare that love is in the air with Pride Fort Lauderdale on Valentine's Day, February 14th. Our magazine, events, television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ plus and broader community.
In 2025, more than 100 community leaders will sit at this table and share their voice as our anchors. Today, we host this show to support our diverse family. Let's meet today's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome back to the table, Jason Nunez. Jason is a trailblazing leader, passionate entrepreneur, and fierce advocate for equality. He is president and CEO of the Greater Fort Lauderdale LGBT Chamber of Commerce. And as a third-generation minority Air Force veteran, he has served at the Pentagon, White House, State Department, and Department of Labor. So Jason, 30 Days of Pride, Palm Beach celebrates 2025 Stonewall Ball at Kravis Center on June 28th. Tell me what's happening out.
Palm Beach will shine red on Saturday, June 28th, as the Compass LGBTQ plus Community Center hosts its annual Stonewall Ball at the Cohen Pavilion in the Kravis Center from 7 p.m. to midnight. Held under the theme, A Night to be Redefined, this signature Pride event kicks off with a VIP cocktail hour and award ceremony from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., honoring community advocates Dr. Alina Alonso and Kim Enright, with an elevated red dress code encouraging bold self-expression. The evening transforms into a vibrant dance party at 9 p.m., featuring music, immersive art, and surprises. VIP tickets are $300. General admission is $50. For tickets, donations, or sponsorships, visit CompassLGBTQ.com. Hotspots Happening Out and Queer News Tonight is celebrating 30 Days of Pride by promoting 16 dazzling events in the LGBT community, so stay tuned. I'm super excited about this because I look really good in red. But
My comment too.
But this event, just to showcase Dr. Alina Alonso. I mean, I don't know who follows them, but amazing opportunity, and I'm super excited to go. And also my friends over at Compass, great networkers with the chamber.
Yeah.
Both on the chamber side, but also on the Pride side. So I'm super excited to have those communities come together.
Right, and I love Compass. Compass is a community center through and through. From kids to seniors to everything in between, they're there to help. And they really do span a large space. They're in West Palm Beach, but they even help people down here in Broward. So Julie Seaver is always all over the place. Yes. I love you, Julie, yes. All right? And all you folks over there are simply incredible. And I was going to say the same thing. I look great in red, man. Yeah. But I do look great in red.
So do.
I'm pretty in pink.
They're always pretty in pink, you know, and events like this are super important, so make sure that you go and support. All right, Stonewall Gala, I love that.
Yes.
Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you all at the 2025 Stonewall Ball at Kravis Center on June 28th. And that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight. Next up, let's welcome anchor TriniDaddy. He's a violinist and pianist with the Miami City Ballet and is the program director for the Seminole Theater Players in Homestead. TriniDaddy, Symphony meets style at IKEA Miami. I love IKEA. With SFSO on June 7th. Tell me what's happening out.
Well, I'm performing a string quartet concert with the South Florida Symphony Orchestra on Saturday, June 7th at Miami IKEA, and it is open to all. Actually, we just added a few more instruments, so it might be a little bit more than a string quartet. A few woodwinds are going to join us as well, doing like a very cross-cultural group of songs. IKEA Miami will host a free one-of-a-kind concert experience titled Symphony Meets Style, Music, Design, and You. This community concert invites guests to arrive early for dinner at the restaurant and stay afterward for exclusive home furnishing deals. The performance will take place right inside the IKEA Miami Swedish restaurant, offering a unique setting where melodies meet modern living. Don't forget to RSVP, and before you head out, treat yourself to a frozen yogurt at the IKEA Bistro near the exit. So I love me an IKEA. I love to, the food, Swedish meatballs, if you've never eaten at IKEA, it's super cheap. You do have to take your own tray away, but that's how they keep their costs down, you know? The food is great. I have gone there on breaks just to eat, and you can go there right from the beginning. You don't have to go through like the entire, you know, showroom in order to get there. I think it's really great. They've been supporting the South Florida Symphony, and we decided like, how are we going to be able to do something in connection with them? But this is free 99, okay?
Yeah,
so there's not that many free events where you can hear like some world-class musicians performing, and we're doing pop music too. Like it's kind of like those candlelight concert type things. So you can go there, you can get something to eat, you can chill out and like enjoy all of this going on. Like there's not much of a better deal going on in Miami at the time for broke folks, okay?
For broke folks.
And like, you know, half of us are broke because the rent is too high in this town. So I highly encourage you all to come out and check it.
You know what I love about this are the people that are not going to hear this broadcast that are just there at IKEA doing their Saturday shopping, right? Stressed out over this not fitting there, this being too expensive, this not being the right color, and you'll be able to get them out of that stress for a little while with your live music right there. I mean, that's going to be awesome.
Absolutely. And you know, everybody could use something at IKEA. They got an umbrella for $3, something. So if you've been putting off a trip to go do something, go that day.
Yeah.
And then you can just, you know, double with a free concert.
Yeah.
Win-win for everybody.
Bear, have you ever been to IKEA? Are you an
All the
IKEA
time.
bear?
I'm an IKEA bear. Yes.
Are you?
Oh.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Love the Swedish meatballs.
Oh, I love Swedish meatballs.
And the cinnamon rolls and, you know.
I forgot about the cinnamon rolls.
I never had those.
Those
Oh,
are
you
good.
gotta have
Okay.
the cinnamon
Yeah.
rolls. Yeah.
All right.
Hasong, you?
And then you get an ice cream cone and put it on top.
Oh, I didn't go that far.
Okay.
Just saying.
Oh, I love that. Now we
Great.
inventing
Now-
stuff at IKEA. I love that. Now I'm hungry. Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at the Symphony Meets Style concert on June 7th. And that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight. Next up, let's welcome anchor William Haas. Will is a bi-coastal real estate professional and is the past president of South Florida's most popular gay social club, the Bears of South Florida, of course. So Will, 30 Days of Pride, Naples Pride Fest returns June 7th with a powerful message. Tell me what's happening out.
Florida will light up with love, pride, and unity on Saturday, June 7th, as Naples Pride hosts its annual Pride Fest from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Cambria Park in downtown Naples. This year's theme, Hate Has No Home Here, promises a bold celebration of equality and acceptance. The festival will feature live performances from both local talent and nationally acclaimed entertainers, including a drag extravaganza with special appearances by Coco Montrese. Attendees can enjoy food, drinks, a kid zone, and browse booths from vendors and nonprofits supporting the LGBTQ+ community. The Inn of Naples will serve as the official host hotel, offering discounted stays for the weekend. Festivities will continue with a tea dance and pool party on Sunday and a meet and greet with Coco, plus a pre and post party at the district. Tickets are $10 with free entry for children under 12. Visit naplespride.org, book your tickets, and learn more. Hotspots Happening out in Queer News tonight is celebrating 30 days of Pride by promoting 16 dazzling events in the LGBTQ community. So stay tuned. I can't wait for this weekend. We went from one day, now we're doing a full weekend, and Naples had so much diversity that we're celebrating diversity. And Pride's wonderful, and Coco's coming to sing for us and dance and show off for us, and the tea dance in the district, an amazing bar. If you've never been, you guys need to go there. It's like a speakeasy type of bar.
I love this. You're going to have a great weekend. Oh my God, Will. And your entertainment is top notch. I mean, yes. I'm all about the meet and greet with Coco. How dope is that? But you also have Tiffany Fantasia performing. You also have Tayana Love also performing, who is just an incredible performer, and a whole lot more. I mean, you folks have put your blood, sweat, and tears into Naples Pride, and now here it is. It's finally here.
I can't wait for it.
You deserve it. It's going to be a fantastic time. Hasong?
Yeah, I'm excited for another family event.
Yeah.
I mean, just to the exposure of the kids to all of these artists, to the diverse community. Like, I was looking at the lineup. I mean, you have Miss Out SFL, Velvet Lenore going.
Oh, yes, yes,
I mean, you have the representation of royalty and Coco Montrese. You have that affiliation with RuPaul's Drag Race. Yep. Just the arts and culture is very out in this weekend. Naples. And
it like warms me up inside because it's kind of giving the middle finger to all the Trumpers up there. Like, hey, we're still here. We're still having this party. And, I mean, hate has no home here.
And it's true.
It gets no better than that.
Nope.
I mean, that gives me chills right there. Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you all at Naples Pride Fest on June 7th. And that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome anchor Bonnie Builder. She's the premier South Florida bodybuilding drag queen and the forever reigning Mixed Mary's Wilton Manors. Hey, Bon, so 30 Days of Pride will be back to Blaq. We'll be at the Manor on June 6th. Tell me what's happening out. Stop looking at yourself for a second. I know it's hard because you're so gorgeous. I know.
The Back to Blaq celebration will light up the Manor on Friday, June 6th, starting at 9 p.m. This 21 and Up event will honor the Black LGBTQ plus community with an electric mix of DJs, live performers, and a dazzling showcase ball presented by the Florida Ballroom Alliance. The event will have a 10 p.m. VIP meet and greet with Jensen Atwood and will also feature Mal from Netflix's The Ultimatum Queer Love. Organized to benefit the Lucky Lightyear Foundation, the night promises pride, power, and performance. Tickets will range from $10.59 to $51.50, offering options for every vibe, from general admissions to VIP glam. Partygoers will find full event details at backtoblackfl.com. Hotspots happening out in Queer News Tonight is celebrating 30 Days of Pride by promoting 16 dazzling events in the LGBTQ plus community. So stay tuned. Now, show of hands, who here likes black people?
Me!
Why are your hands so slow? This sounds like
not every black person.
Sorry, black person talking. This sounds like an incredible time to go to. The Manor is always one of the best venues to have any event that you want to go to. And the fact that there's going to be voguing, there's going to be a ballroom there, incredible. Yeah. So if you think you ain't got enough gay shit to go to this month, here's another one. And it starts at a very reasonable price. Just make sure you bring change. Okay? It's a little bit exact. But this sounds absolutely incredible. Make sure you go to that website. What do y'all think about it?
$10.59, okay? I'm gonna be like, okay, 10, 50 cents.
You better bring that pocket change.
Can I get the change, please?
You gonna get it. You gonna get it.
Bonnie's gonna be at the door with that little belt that has the change on it. You just let it out at the bottom. Look, this is gonna be an incredible event, all right? So like you said, the Manor it just got all the sound system. It's got all the lights. It's got all the space to just party with a couple thousand of your best friends, right? But you got Jamal Starks that's going to be up in there, and that body, and he's bringing his spiritual game. But honestly, if you're not into the spiritualness, he is just so sexy to look at that you're fine with that, right? Yes. We got CJ Hercules, who is a hottie. She is adorable, and I'm a huge fan of hers. And also DJ Joey Brown, all right? And this is just a couple of the people that are part of the lineup. It's going to be a jam-packed night, and you've got to get your tickets. And again, $10.59 to get into anywhere these days. That's a bargain.
Yeah, shout out to the Lucky Year Foundation, Jasmine Rogers and her team.
Jasmine, yay!
Yes, it's a great event. Shameless plug, the Chamber is co-sponsoring this event. So we're really looking forward to Friday night. The Chamber will be there in full force.
Good.
So be present and come on.
And you'll be walking the ball, correct? What are you walking?
I'll be
face.
Face.
You have to show up.
Oh!
You have to show up to find out.
She's not walking speech. She's walking.
No walking speech. That's one of those. I'm so glad you're pretty. Just don't get me talking.
Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you all at Back to Black at the Manor on June 6th. And that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
And of course, let's welcome tonight's lead anchor, FayWhat. She is a legendary events host, a television and radio personality, and the host of Hotspot's Happening Out, the FayWhat Show. Faye, 30 Days of Pride. Laser Evening's Pride celebration is at Frost Museum of Science on June 13th. Tell me what's happening out.
Oh, this is going to be so fun. So Miami's Philip and Patricia Frost Museum of Science is celebrating Pride Month in dazzling style with a Laser Evenings Pride celebration on Friday, June 13th. This special night of music and lights will take over the museum's planetarium, featuring iconic laser shows synced to the hits of queer icons and allies. The lineup includes Elton John at 7, Queen at 8, Lady Gaga at 9, and David Bowie at 10 p.m. The event takes place at the Frost Museum in Miami. Tickets are priced at just $15 for adults and $12 for children. Guests can also purchase light snacks and refreshments at the main atrium throughout the evening. For tickets and more information, visit frostscience.org. Hotspot's Happening Out in Queer News Tonight is celebrating 30 Days of Pride by promoting 16 dazzling events in the LGBTQ plus community, so stay tuned. You know, I love nerds, and if you want to go and cruise for nerds, you go to a planetarium, right? And that is where you find some sexy-ass nerds, and at the same time, you enjoy yourself looking at the incredible stars up in the sky. And so add some lasers to it and our queer icons that we love, music. I mean, this sounds like a really fun night to grab your friends and, like, go and just have a great time. I mean, this is going to be fun.
Yeah, I just wonder how long it's going to take for people to stand up and start dancing versus sitting down watching the show. So.
For sure.
It'll be interesting.
Also, if you're sober but you want to feel high, please go to something like this. This is a crazy experience.
Oh
you don't have to pop a goddamn thing. You just sit back, get a nice cool cola or whatever you drinking on, and just let it soak into you. This looks absolutely incredible.
This is going to be a blast, Rose, right? It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm a planetarium dude.
Are you?
I actually have my whole place is set up with projections and the universe on the ceiling and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, do you have a telescope?
No, I don't.
Okay. I thought you were going to say some reference to the one between your legs. And no, you were like, no.
Okay. But yeah, like, I think this is an amazing event. I wish they had, like, the time that it's going to end, because, like,
10.
That's when the next set starts.
No, it's going to be each set, 8, 9, 10. It's going to be...
Right, 10 is a set.
Yes.
Oh, so then it'll end at 11, I guess.
There you go.
Yeah, because when I go to one of those things, like, I like to just park for a while and just, like, you know, take it all in. And, you know, people come in all different types of states to these kinds of things to enjoy a good time. And as Bonnie said, and as you say, if you're going to, you know, maybe meet somebody there, if they happen to be ugly, at least you have something to distract you. Like, you don't have to talk to them.
Stargaze.
Yeah.
Stargaze. Oh, okay. Let's look at the stars.
Yeah.
On that note, Nunez Tonight looks forward to seeing you at Laser Evening's Pride celebration at Frost Museum of Science on June 13th. That is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm FayWhat, and let's queer up politics. President Trump cancels June Pride Month and replaces it with Title IX Month. In a sweeping move that is already sparking national reaction, President Donald Trump's administration has officially announced that June will no longer be recognized as Pride Month. Instead, the U.S. Department of Education has rebranded it as Title IX Month. In a statement released on the first business day of June Pride Month, the department declared, quote, "The U.S. Department of Education today announced that it is recognizing June as Title IX Month in honor of the 53rd anniversary of Title IX of the educational amendments being signed into law. June will now be dedicated to commemorating women and celebrating their struggle for and achievement of equal educational opportunity," end quote. While Title IX prohibits sex-based discrimination in education, LGBTQ advocates are calling the shift a clear political signal, especially as the department begins its Title IX month with 2 new investigations into schools for allowing transgender women to access women-only spaces. In its social media post, the department said, quote, "This month will celebrate Title IX's 53rd anniversary and will take more action to protect women's hard-earned rights," end quote. Critics argue this marks a deliberate erasure of Pride Month, long celebrated as a time for queer visibility and rights. News outlets like The Hill noted the administration is working to undo Biden-era transgender protections. A Fox News report said, quote, "Department of Education labels June as Title IX month in wake of trans athletes winning girls' competitions," end quote. Queer News Tonight has reached out to the Log Cabin Republicans for comment. The LGBTQ Republican organization has consistently argued that Trump is the most LGBTQ embracing president and administration in American history. As of this broadcast, we have not received any reply. As debates over gender identity, education, policy, and civil rights intensify, this move sends the most powerful message of the 21st century to reject June Pride and Stonewall recognition. Combined with the DOD move to remove Harvey Milk's name from an American warship seems to be a clear sign that the impending war on LGBTQ has begun. You know, folks, you don't honor women by erasing queer people. Let's start there, all right? Replacing Pride Month with Title IX Month while launching investigations into schools that support trans women is not about equality. It's a political stunt. Pride was born from protests, and moves like this remind us why we still march every June and throughout the year. You can rename a month if you want to, but you can't rewrite history, and you can't sure as hell can't cancel a whole freaking community.
I just find it interesting that in their same breath on their social, they're talking about erasing pride, but talking about struggle, or, erasing the Department of Education, but now dedicating a whole month to education. Like, make up your mind what you want to do. Mm-hmm. They're talking out of both sides of their mouth, but similar, yes, erasing anybody is not supporting or amplifying anybody else.
No.
And just to be clear, Donald Trump can say that he's canceling Pride Month all he wants to. That's maybe an official White House position, but every cultural group, community group that wants to celebrate Pride and advertise Pride, and every business that wants to do it, it's still Pride Month. Yep. No matter what he says or any politician says, because that's part of that's a holiday for the people, or month. So don't pay any attention. If that's what Donald Trump wants to do, that's fine. You let him do that.
Yeah.
Also, we do have Women's Month. That's March, right? So that would be kind of the time if you wanted to be talking about these things. So obviously it's a political stunt, and you're trying to appeal to this base. Part of me does have to say, as a strategist, it is a good strategy on their part to try to figure out, how can I hate gay people and erase gay people and make it seem like I'm not actually just hating gay people.
How can I do that?
And so I'm sure it's not him, but somebody in his team was like, "Oh, great marketing idea. Let's kind of make this, we're protecting women." And, and there are a lot of people that have opinions about trans women in sports. So capitalizing on that kind of mob mentality and that hatred towards trans people and injecting it into this is, I hate to say it, but I do think it's probably going to be somewhat effective if we don't kind of portray the other side of it and what he's actually doing. So I'm glad that, we're talking about this and that we're exposing some of these people for what they're doing.
What they are.
Yeah.
But this is coming from somebody who doesn't respect or care for women, saying that he's trying to do this for women. It's so crazy. And people go, "Oh, wow, that's a great idea." No, he's an idiot.
Also, Pride Month isn't because the president said so. Pride Month is because on June of 1969, there was a riot near Stonewall called the Stonewall riots.
Yeah.
That's why we had Pride Month, not because the president said so. Also, I've been rewatching this show. It's called Veep. It's about the idiocy of our government officials, and it used to be so fictitious and so comical. Rewatching that show, it's now so real, because hearing stories like this, you realize how stupid these government officials are, especially Trump. It is still fuck Donald Trump. I'm still booked all month. So whatever he got to say, I still got gigs all month. I don't even give a goddamn what that fool got to say.
Yeah.
You can still catch me at all these Pride events all this month. That doesn't change the Stonewall riot of June of 1969.
Thank you very much. And I got to give a big shout out to our mayor in Miami-Dade County, Daniela Levine.
Yes.
I did the LGBTQ Advisory Board's Pride kickoff yesterday. It was an honor to host it with the mayor and all those folks. And they had backlash. They had people that were not going to let them raise the flag. And that's part of Pride Month, right? To raise that progressive flag, to see our flag up there next to the American flag, to get those chills. And they weren't going to allow that. And the mayor was like, hell no, 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 no. And she fought back and made it happen. You know, and we raised that flag yesterday.
And she made a public statement. Yes. I think she was like, Miami-Dade County will always be a home and a haven for gay people, trans, LGBTQ plus community. And she is a class act in every respect. But as far as what she has done for like our LGBTQ rights down here and being such an advocate, and she was in the Pride Parade in one of the cars.
Her daughter is a lesbian.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So I mean, it's not something that she says every single time she gets on a podium, right? She supports us because she supports us, and that means more than anything.
Y'all should write Daniela Levine up and tell her how much we support you. So she knows that, because sometimes the people who are doing the most, they need the support.
Yeah.
You know, so let's support
and
those
they need to know that we
too.
see them.
Yes.
Exactly.
You know,
we thank you.
And appreciate them.
And that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Jason Nunez, and let's queer up the USA View. Pride organizations lose as much as 50% of their budgets in 2025 with corporate losses. In 2025, Pride events across the United States are facing staggering budget shortfalls, with some losing up to 50% of their annual funds after a wave of corporate sponsors pulled out. From San Francisco to St. Louis, LGBTQ organizers are scrambling to fill gaps as big-name brands walk away from the very communities they once celebrated. San Francisco Pride lost $200,000. KC Pride in Missouri is also down $200,000. And NYC Pride is trying to raise $750,000 to cover its deficit. Even Anheuser-Busch, which sponsored Pride Fest in St. Louis for 30 years, pulled out, leaving a $150,000 hole. Many of these corporate exits come just as President Donald Trump continues to attack trans rights and dismantle DEI programs. Pride organizers say the timing sends a clear message. One confidential executive director source at a major United States Pride has told Queer News Tonight that their corporate support is down 50% in 2025. Similar reports have been made to other LGBTQ outlets. Suzanne Ford, executive director of the San Francisco Pride, said, quote, "With everything we're facing from the Trump administration, to lose 5 of your partners within a couple of weeks, it felt like we were being abandoned," end quote. Now, even events are cutting costs, fewer stages, cheaper performers, no more free food for volunteers. In New York, spokesperson Chris Piedmont confirmed that about 20% of sponsors, including PepsiCo and Nissan, either reduced or pulled funding entirely. Some companies have returned with anonymous checks, wary of public backlash. Some Pride groups are now actively distancing themselves from companies that abandon DEI. San Francisco Pride cut ties with Meta. Twin Cities Pride cut off Target after it scaled back its diversity commitments. However, in the absence of corporate support, the LGBT community is stepping up. Twin Cities Pride crowdfunded $89,000 to plug a $50,000 hole. San Francisco raised $55,000 from local foundations. Activists point out the problem is even more complex in dealing with cities' support of Pride. Police, fire, and other costs have skyrocketed to put on parades, festivals, and celebrations, and some cities have suggested they have little desire to support community cost. Despite the challenges, Pride is still happening, and it's as political, joyful, and necessary as ever. So Pride, for me, my story, it took a Pride to save my life, because I was served on Don't Ask, Don't Tell. I got out. I was transitioning, reserve life and active duty, and then finding myself. And it was Pride Miami that literally saved my life. It was a random email from a volunteer coordinator that said, "Are you available?" And I said yes. And literally going to that pride saved my life. So this pride, or prides in general, mean the world to me, literally life-saving event. And we as a community need to come together. Yeah. It very much sucks that these corporate people are trying to hide behind anonymous checks, and cash donations and all this other kind of buffoonery to not have their name out there. But it also takes us as a community and us as a Chamber of Commerce are actively involved with Stonewall Pride, Pride Fort Lauderdale, Pride FayWhat, Miami Beach Pride, West Palm Beach Pride, because it takes us as our community to support our own. Yeah. And even though there's so many cuts and it's coming from above, there is also support from our own community, whether it's the small businesses or the individual donors that have similar stories to mine where pride saved a life. Mm-hmm. And I think we need to continue and share that story and kind of not necessarily boycott these who are no longer supporting us, but just make sure that we know and we have them on check.
Mm-hmm. I'm kind of torn on how I feel about these companies, because in some way I feel like some of these companies, like Target, for instance, a lot of people have issues with them. I know they were one of the first that came out to support the LGBT community and to have like trans clothing and to, things like that. And so when they had to scale back, or when they did scale back, I don't know if they had
because
to.
Of fear.
There's fear.
They decided to put us in the back of the store in front of the front. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, which still some stores have nothing with us, Mm-hmm. And so you're kind of torn on, like, do I support some company that has something for us that is kind of trying, or do I just boycott it and go to another store that doesn't even have any kind of display for us,
Yeah.
And I don't fault them for kind of writing these checks anonymously, because they have a bottom line to deal with as well. They have employees, they have things that they have to deal with as well. And so torn between, like, do we try to keep supporting them so they can get better business, so they can be a little bit more upfront about writing these checks and supporting. So it's always an issue for me if I'm not exactly sure what to do, because you want to put pressure on them to make the right decision, but you also want to understand their positions for it. Yeah. So
it's weird. It's weird because around this month we always talk about rainbow capitalism, right? Or every year we've talked about rainbow capitalism. And now here we are, right? We went from the world has taken steps back, okay? Let's be real. That's the reality of it all. And so we went from, I'm not taking your crumbs, I expect the full plate, to now we're like, well, thank you for making a pink shirt that says lesbians are good. You know what I mean? Like, and so I'm with you. It's hard, So maybe some of these prides will go back to the grassroots that they started with, right? Maybe prides became too commercial. Maybe we let too many big companies in on our prides. In New York has one of the biggest prides ever, but every borough has their own pride. New Jersey, every city has their own pride, and they're all just smaller. They're block parties. They're, they don't have the big names, right? But we all show up because we love pride. So, I have to agree with you. I'm on that fence right now. I want to say F you, but at the same time, all right, you're not being quiet about it. You're not doing anonymous, I'm a little upset about the anonymous people too, that it's like, shh, take this check, but don't tell them I gave it to you.
Because the backlash is so real.
So severe,
and also, the president looks like he's going to be tanking our economy. So if we've got all of these goods from China that are going to be taxed now, then it's like, okay, well, we're going to be in Shit's Creek in a few months, so we got to save every penny. And also, like it said in the article, many costs are going up. Mm-hmm. So the cost of putting on everything is
security has skyrocketed.
I kind of love your idea of having more grassroots kind of things going on, like that it's not the $50, $100 whatever events, that we have figure out how to have a few more of these things that are kind of neighborhood block party things, and then maybe some of the bigger groups kind of combine together to work together. To try to put
big one. Make the big one. Exactly. Oakland Park Pride is this coming weekend. Small pride, lots of fun, lots of proud people. Right. William,
Naples too.
Please talk to me. Because I was going to ask you about that.
Our security tripled over the last few years, even more. And so we put a gala on 5 weeks, a sold out gala, $500 a ticket. And we made a lot of money to make up for that security. So it's not just our community, it's our allies that are rallying around us. So we have to not forget our allies for all this too.
Let me ask you a question, Will. So New York Pride has a deficit of $750,000. That's almost $1 million, right? San Francisco Pride, $200,000 deficit. How much does it cost to put on a Pride of that caliber, or a Naples Pride, like approximately?
I mean, security alone is maybe $40,000-$50,000 for us, and we're a small little Pride center, so it's a lot part of our budget. And this is how we make our money
For the year.
For the center.
Yes.
This is our big thing. So it really digs into our budget. So we can't give all the services we want to give to our people anymore. So it's really important to donate. And you can go online to any one of these centers and get a ticket, even if you live in Chicago, and you donate to San Francisco or New York City. $10 is, $100 is $1,000 is $10,000. Everybody keeps doing that. So we can help make up these deficits by just donating $5 or $10 each one of these communities.
All right, every little bit helps.
Yeah, but this makes us we want to stand up together and fight.
Get y'all rich retired friends to donate money. They spending money on men to spend the night. They got a couple $1,000s to throw towards these events. I ain't gonna say no names, but if it gets you to donate, I will. Please donate to these events. If we're gonna keep it amongst us, we need to donate towards us. There's a lot of well-to-do homosexuals, a lot of well-to-do trans people, a lot of well-to-do lesbians, a lot of well-to-do everybody on the queer spectrum that have the ability to donate and just haven't done so yet. I'm not on the fence about Target. I've said how I felt about Target a while ago. They were using us for sales, and then when they got pushback, they threw us away. And that's how I feel. They're not like Ben and Jerry's where they actually stand 10 toes down on their morals. That man got arrested a couple days ago because he meant what he felt.
Yep.
But yeah, if we're going to keep it amongst the family, get your rich friends. I don't care if you got a black male. I don't care if you got a... hit them. I don't care. Get their money. Get them to get their money and donate to us. Keep it amongst ourselves if it goes that far. And there are a lot of rich, gay, retired, homosexual men on Wilton Drive alone. If they stay on that little high rise above a business, they got money. So they can throw it down. I don't know where you live, but get your friends.
Why you looking at Willie? Why you looking at Will?
Is demographic. Get your friends to throw their money down to the street so that we can collect it and have bigger and better events.
Well, instead of buying that $20 shirt at Target, go to local gay vendor.
Yep.
Yeah,
Go to Naples, donate $20 to them. Go to Palm Beach Pride. Go to Naples Pride. Go to any of these prides. Go to Oakland Park Pride this coming weekend, and every little bit helps. And that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm TriniDaddy, and let's queer up the USA view. Pride wins as Dupont Circle stays open for WorldPride after LGBTQ pushback. Hotspots Happening Out has a large group in Washington for WorldPride. The LGBTQ plus community is celebrating a major win just days before WorldPride descends on Washington, D.C. On Tuesday morning, D.C. Council member Zachary Parker announced that the National Park Service has rescinded its controversial plan to close Dupont Circle Park during the main Pride weekend. He wrote on Twitter, quote, "The park is central to the LGBTQ community and neighbors will be able to enjoy it this year for WorldPride." Just a day earlier, the Park Service had said it would fence off the park from Thursday to Monday, citing $175,000 in vandalism from 2023 and a formal request from DC police. The backlash was immediate, with queer leaders calling the closure a symbolic slap in the face during an international celebration of queer visibility. That pushback worked, and on Tuesday, Metropolitan Police Chief Pamela A. Smith officially withdrew her request to close the park. A department spokesperson told The Advocate, quote, "Chief Pamela A. Smith has heard from community members and understands how significant Dupont Circle Park is to the Pride celebration," end quote. Meanwhile, watchdog group PCJF has filed Freedom of Information Act requests demanding transparency. Their executive director, Mara Verheyden-Hilliard, said, quote, "The threatened removal of public space from the public's use, notably in relation to LGBTQ plus pride, and in apparent service to Trump's agenda, is a dangerous step and outside the legitimate authority of the Park Service," end quote. For now, though, the heart of DC's LGBTQ plus community remains open, and Pride is back at Dupont Circle. Major events at DC's WorldPride begin tomorrow and run through the weekend. You know, it's it's hard sometimes to determine what is political maneuvering and what is actually true, right? And in this, I used to give the benefit of the doubt a little bit more in previous administrations, but it's pretty clear that messages are being sent from the top that you need to close this under the guise of something else. Oh, they vandalized something 2 years ago, so, we just have to close it for this gay event that you guys are doing. But, was it open last week? Was it open the week before? What about this is a little bit different than the others, right? So, Pamela, I'm not sure what kind of game you're running and who told you what to do, and maybe if you feel fear of retribution, but that fear or that Transparency Act, I'm hoping that we actually get to the bottom of this and that people who are fearful of maybe the Trump agenda and Trump appointees will also be fearful of the backlash that they're going to get from the other people, the other side of things when it goes public and everything is transparent. So it's my hope for everybody who's in that position of feeling like they're being bullied to do something. Just remember, there's backlash on the other side of things too.
Well, this is what queer resistance looks like, right? This is a win, what I mean? Like when the Park Service tried to fence off Dupont Circle, the heart of DC Pride, basically, the LGBTQ plus community didn't flinch. We pushed back and we won. At the end of the day, Pride isn't just a party. It's a protest. It's a presence. It's a freaking promise. And World Pride is going to kick off regardless. All right. We're going to have our park to do our event in, and you can't silence us. That's it.
Yeah.
You.
Yeah. Well, I like what you said, in a previous segment about, Pride going back to kind of its roots. I think maybe for the past few years after gay marriage was passed, we kind of maybe rested a little bit too easy on our laurels about what Pride is and becoming very commercial and just remembering it's always a struggle.
Yeah.
There's always something going on that's threatening to tear us down because we're just a smaller percentage of the population. And if you let it go unchecked, that majority group can just cannibalize us within our own country. So we always have to be vigilant about that. And yeah, I have been ignited in a different way being a queer male that I always need to be more vigilant about that and to speak up when I can.
And maybe this is where we decommercialize Pride and just make it, a festival again and a party and a celebration.
I mean, something like that, it doesn't sound too far-fetched, Will. It doesn't. Jason, I mean, you put a bunch of these events together, you know what I mean? Is that the key to go back to where we started, to go back to our grassroots?
It is. And like I mentioned earlier, like Pride is a feeling. Pride is what it means to you. It's an educational part. It's the historical part. It's what it stood for. It's that commercialism is kind of, we let it, but because let's be real, it brought in the dollars.
Right.
It brought in the dollars. It made us have that much better of an event. But Pride could be a picnic with the five of us kikiing over.
It's true.
Like, let's go have a barbecue and we can have a Pride event.
If you ever, because, people have been bringing up, why do you still need Pride? If there's ever a moment where you're with your partner, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whatever it is, and you feel that hesitation about holding their hand in a space, that's what it's about.
That's why we need Pride.
That's why we need it.
Just like Jason said, that Pride saved his life, right? I mean, that feeling of camaraderie, when you go to Pride and you see people who just love each other, kissing, holding each other, right? Without anybody looking at them weird. And you're like, I'm part of this community. I can do the same thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like you said, we're a much smaller community in comparison to the rest. And like, the straight world is the straight world. We live in the straight world. So we need our Pride spaces because we need our gay spaces, just like we need our events. It's where we can be us, truly, authentically.
Can I ask do any of you still feel, I mean, you're more out figures in the community. Do any of you still feel at any time in public or that you have that feeling of maybe I don't want to hold
100%. Yeah, even more so after January.
Even more. From my car to the gig sometimes.
In drag?
When I do gathering on Wednesdays and I park, I can't park right in front of the venue because it's already filled up.
Yeah.
And I got to park like a block away. I'm like, I got to choose to be brave. I got to get out this car, looking the way I look, because I'm not taking this off just to repaint. I have work to go to, and everyone should respect that. And I got to carry that with me, grab my garb, put the wig on, and walk to the gig. And no matter what kind of looks I get, I have to walk confidently. Because if they see me looking scared, they're going to know, okay, they know this isn't right, so I can tell them this isn't right. No, I got to be confident in that. So that's another reason we have Pride. When you go to a queer event, and then you call the Uber to go home, and you're like, you don't know if this Uber is going to pull up, see me in my short shorts and my crop top and cancel the ride. That's why we have Pride.
Yep.
For those instances alone, where we are out in spaces where we don't feel like we have numbers on our side, but we still choose to be brave every single day because we have to. That's why we have Pride. Pride is to be proud of yourself. We are very proud to be who we are. We're not all on the same level of that. Some people started way younger. Some people started doing it more recently. But we're all working for the same journey. And that's to be proud of ourselves and to be brave in doing so.
And also that you're not alone. There's a bunch of us out there to help you out.
And in Miami, just to say, because you guys are probably some of the most outspoken, like carrying that flag for, the whole community, and for you all to feel that way at times. And in a city which Miami and Wilton and this whole South Florida area is generally a bit more accepting of the LGBTQ community.
And there's more of us. There's more of us down here than in other places.
And I remember maybe 5 years ago, I just remember I needed to be more out because I always kind of kept my identity a little bit more on the down low. It's nobody's business. But I remember like some kids that I heard in like some town in Mississippi that are like looking for somebody to say that there's hope, to like give them some kind of hope. And so we have to carry that flag, if you feel that in your heart for all those other people. That's for me what Pride is about.
Amen. I love that, Trini. And that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm William Haas, and let's queer up USA View. Pentagon to strip Harvey Milk's name from a naval ship. During Pride Month, in a move being called political and deeply painful, the U.S. Department of Defense will strip Harvey Milk's name from a Navy ship during Pride Month. According to military.com, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth ordered the renaming of the USNS Harvey Milk, the first military ship named after an openly gay person. A department official confirmed the timing is no accident, saying it aligns with the efforts to restore what Hegseth calls quote-unquote warrior culture. The official announcement is expected on June 13th. Launched in 2021 under President Biden, the USNS Harvey Milk honors a Navy veteran, a gay rights icon, a trailblazing politician. Milk, elected to San Francisco's Board of Supervisors in 1977, was assassinated the following year. His legacy, especially amongst the LGBTQ veterans and activists, is profound. This renaming is part of a broader effort. CBS News reports that ships honoring civil rights heroes such as Harriet Tubman, Thurgood Marshall, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Medgar Evers, Cesar Chavez, Harvey Milk, and other prominent Americans are also under review. Queer leaders are calling this a direct attack. Gay California State Senator Scott Wiener said, "This is absolutely shameful. Harvey Milk was a hero. He was a veteran who served our country. He died for our community. Now Trump and Hegseth are wiping it away due to straight, quote-unquote, bigotry." Stuart Milk, Harvey's nephew, said the family is heartbroken. He spent time aboard the recent ship and recalled the pride of every sailor, regardless of background, he said. Harvey Milk's legacy is certainly enhanced and celebrated by the U.S. Navy ship. However, his legacy will not be silenced or diminished by renaming of the naval ship. It's really sad. I mean, we have all these men and women that serve in our armed forces, and he's someone for them to look up to. And now they're just trying to, whitewash it all away from us and take it away from us, and that's really sad. I know, Jason, that's probably got to really affect you, because I know when I saw this, even though I didn't serve, my dad did it. This is a shame. This is not really fair. This is someone who we look up to in our community.
Yeah, it's literally someone who puts their life on the line for the country, and then the country comes back and is like, meh.
Yep.
Like, thank you for putting your life on the line, but you're not worth recognizing even the name on the ship. Just the other week we had the Fleet Week here in Fort Lauderdale.
Lots of seamen.
Yeah.
Lots of seamen. And we went aboard the USS New York, and we saw pieces of 9/11 and how the naming of that vessel came about. So something for like 9/11, which catapulted me into the military, that was extremely meaningful for the folks who served with Harvey Milk, the family of Harvey Milk, the other veterans, any veteran who serves the Constitution and joined courageously and out because of how Harvey Milk was, this is an insult. And then, where does our military go from here as a whole?
Right.
If they can do this to a name of a ship from years ago, and then talking about Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Harriet Tubman, like, what are we trying to do? It just goes back to that whole erasing history thing. And it's just, it's insulting, but it's also so numbing because he's doing it so often and so blatant. We can't shy away from it or be quiet about it, but it's just, it's tough. It's another tough kind of situation to look at and be like, is this real? Like, pinch me, wake me up.
It's so wild, like in the era of technology, the era of information, as we move forward in time, there's going to be so much more accessible to the next generation and the generation after that. And yet they're trying to erase so much from that. They can't scrub this from the history books.
Nope.
They really can't.
It happened.
It happened. It's there.
Oh my God.
People in the future are going to know about this and they're going to be upset that it happened.
Right.
So it seems like their acts are so hateful, and yet there's no one in their camp who's like seeing the future of like, people are going to find out that we did this and realize it was a bad thing to do. No one's thinking that far in the future on that dumbass camp.
Yeah.
That dumbass camp is doing stuff now to make themselves look good now and feel good now. And they're not realizing that they're going to crumble in the future, hopefully very, very soon.
But it's like saying to people, go fight for our country, sacrifice your life, but protect everybody's freedom, but not your gay freedom.
Not your gay freedom.
Yeah,
I mean, come on. Let's
Well,
think
the black
about
folk that also did it.
Let's think about the trans folks in the military, all right? And we're coming for you if you don't let us know where you're at, okay? Because they don't have us counted, right? And they don't know how many of us there are, right? God forbid that they're organized in that degree. But like you joined the military, like Jason, right? No offense, you're pseudo brainwashed to stand up for this country, to fight for this country, to lay down your life for this country, to that coincides with just life experiences, affects your whole entire family, and then because you're gay or you're trans, you're not even a being, you're not even a human.
But it's not even a draft anymore. People have volunteered to do this, so they want their rights protected, and
they deserve them.
That's what's scary about it, is that there's no draft and people are volunteering. LGBT community is volunteering to defend our country, defend our rights, and we're slapping them in the face.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I mean, it's a volunteer service.
Yeah.
Nobody forced me. Nobody gave me a number and said, you will join. This is your number, like other countries. Right. Literally, I volunteered to lay my life. I knew what I was getting into. And then, while I did not know that I was gay at the time, so serving under Don't Ask, Tell and Tell was a revelation for me. But I knew that going in. But yeah, you joined the military because of Harvey Milk, because of the Ruth Bader Ginsburgs. And now, yeah, it's just...
What bothers me the most about this story is that Pete Hegseth says, we're trying to restore warrior culture, right? And the irony of all of this is that a Donald Trump doesn't exist without a bunch of beta lapdog males around them that can't stand up to anything. It's like, we'll do whatever you say. To Donald Trump. So you obviously are projecting this, that you have no backbone, you have no spine, you have no courage, right? And then you look at somebody like Harvey Milk and you look at, Harriet Tubman. Don't you think that she was afraid that she was going to get hung, lynched for what she was doing? And I remember when I first came out and I went to some drag bars and stuff, and I was scared of drag queens, right? Because I was scared of like what they might bring you up on stage, they might expose you or something like that. Later on, as I became more comfortable with being gay, and I realized it was a courage issue, because in our kind of hyper heterosexual, male culture, it's like, anything that somebody thinks that you might be gay, anything that's really misogyny, anything that makes you kind of like a woman, is probably the kryptonite to any straight guy. Like, I'm not going to do that,
Yeah.
So it's like getting over that. And when you can, like, those are the truest kind of warriors that are like, I don't care what you're going to say about me. I don't care what you're going to talk about. I'm going to do the right thing. And those are the biggest warriors in our community. So
damn right.
F you.
F you. And let's be clear that you can paint over a name, but you can't erase the legacy. All right. That's it. Harvey stood for visibility, for truth, for pride. And we carry that forward with or without their freaking approval. All right. And shout out to Stuart Milk, the nephew of Harvey, for being just an incredible pillar and for everything that he does. And that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ plus story for today. I'm Bonnie Builder, and let's queer up entertainment. Scissor sisters Jake Shears rise into canes with wild gay biker film. Jake Shears is back in the spotlight, and not just on stage. The Scissor Sisters frontman is currently touring the globe with a reunited band for their first live shows in over a decade. But off stage, he's making waves with his screen debut in Pillion, a wild and unexpectedly heartfelt gay biker romance that turned heads at the Cannes Film Festival. Directed by first-time filmmaker Harry Leighton, Pillion stars Alexander Skarsgård as Ray, a leather-clad dom navigating new territory with a submissive partner played by Harry Potter alum Harry Melling. Shears plays Kevin, one of Ray's previous subs. One unforgettable scene features Shears encountering a very realistic prosthetic Prince Albert piercing. Talking to Deadline, Shears said, quote, "I gotta say that prosthetic was really realistic. To me, in real life, it felt very real. Literally and figuratively. It was so realistic that in the moment when it's happening and being filmed, it was kind of shocking in a really great way," end quote. Even more surprising, that piercing wasn't in the script, so Shears' reaction on camera is 100% genuine. The casting director spotted Shears during his electric performance as the MC in Cabaret on London's West End. From there, Shears dove deep into the dom sub-leather scene, researching, reading the Leatherman's Handbook, and learning the rituals of kink. Pillion is expected to hit theaters later this year via A24. Now that I've ended by saying A24, does that whole story make sense?
Now it makes sense.
They are oftentimes off the beaten path, but because it is A24, I will be seeing this film. I am a huge fan of that production company. I love most of what they put out, and I want to see this penis, please. Scissor Sisters, not a band that I'm familiar with. I'm gonna turn to.
Don't even. Listen, don't even get me started, because when I saw Scissor Sisters, I got freaking excited. I thought it was gonna be lesbians on stage. I was like, hello. You know what I mean? Scissoring is my cardio. I was excited for that. And then I saw these men on stage singing this music, and I was like, yeah, not what I thought. So this makes me more interested in it.
Okay, here's the Prince Albert.
The Prince Albert.
I love the monarchy, so yeah, I'm ready to. Yeah.
Who doesn't love royalty?
Who doesn't love royalty?
And it's Alexander Skarsgård. If you all know him from True Blood, he is one of the sexiest dudes I've ever seen on screen. There is a way that he is able to just like connect with a gay audience and make it realistic. Like it doesn't feel like he's faking anything. Maybe he's not.
Like a Butch Salamander.
And so I think we need to find ways to get away from the politics sometimes, just to wash our brain a little bit. Wash our brain with the Prince Albert penis.
Yes.
So yeah, find your shows and like put them on your queue to make sure that you can kind of. This is my advice, because this is what I've been doing, watching True Blood every night right now, and watching these gay scenes with Alexander Skarsgård. So it definitely helps.
But what a great way for someone that maybe they're shy, maybe they don't know if they're into kink or BDSM or leather. You know what I mean? Maybe something in this movie excites them, and they're like, oh, let me go seek this out.
Absolutely.
You can't get much safer sex than watching it on a screen, okay?
Well, speaking of advice, when you go down on somebody with the Prince Albert, the metal is going to rub the roof of your mouth and cause some bruising, I'll say. So you want to make sure you have the entire phallic instrument lubricated, including the metal piece, so that when it is rubbing, it reduces friction so it's not causing any bruising on the roof of your mouth.
So the first time I gave head, I chipped my tooth on the Prince Albert.
Oh my God.
What?
True story. True story.
Wait a minute, the first time?
Yeah, the first time.
For the first time.
Yeah, big chip in my front tooth.
I was going to say how great your front teeth are now, but now I know why, right? Like,
I can take them out. No, just kidding.
did that scare you? Like if you came across another Prince Albert in the future where you're like, hell no, or no?
No,
okay.
What?
Wait a second. You said you put lubricant on it?
You lubricate it. You spit on that thing, and then eat it like Thanksgiving. Yeah. You make sure it's nice and wet.
But
you want dry metal rub.
So that way it doesn't rub on the top.
No, I thought you meant like an actual like lubricant to put on there. Like I'm like, that's kind of.
Yeah. He does it.
Okay.
Get the milk? No.
Flavor.
But I want to know, is the Leatherman's Handbook on Audible? Because I drive a lot.
Right. I've never heard about that.
Oh, right. I like that.
We had a Leatherman experience.
And on Audible. That's the best one. I love that. Will is like, I'm not reading that. Read it.
You're right.
I feel so out of this conversation.
Oh, no.
What's Prince Albert? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right.
He's royalty.
Just look down.
Well, that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight. As a nonprofit LGBTQ media organization, we would like to thank our viewers for supporting our mission to tell the stories of the queer community. We'd also like to thank the generous support of Jets Pizza. Jets is the LGBTQ community's most popular pizza in South Florida.
Take a look around these streets. Do you really think we woke up one day and said, yeah, the world needs more pizza? Nah, just a better one. Better, like the world's best pizza, Jets Detroit-style pizza. Hand-pressed and baked to the thickest, crispiest crunch. You're welcome. Now visit jetspizza.com and save. Click on hot deals for special offers in your area. Jets, better because it has to be.
Those are today's headlines from Queer News Tonight. These anchors represent the best of our LGBTQ community.
If our rainbow family is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines.
We need your support. For our communities to grow and thrive, we must tell the stories and bring them to attention to the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ plus stories in motion and sound. That is a passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your lead anchor at Queer News Tonight, FayWhat! And on behalf of these LGBTQ reporters, the incredible anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Jason Nunez, TriniDaddy, William Haas, and the incredible Miss Bonnie Builder. We will see you daily at 8 p.m. to our LGBTQ plus world. We hope that you will join us by embracing love, generosity, bravery, by being transformative, and of course, being queer. Good night!
Night.